All right, welcome back to The Devil in Detail, the Grendel Reread podcast. I'm Eli.
I'm Ben. This is episode 25, hologram cover.
Woohoo!
We're finally back into the red, white, and black anthology. We're wrapping up the tail end of this. We got a few more different twists and turns as we conclude our Hunter Rose coverage over the next few months.
Yes, VIVAT Grendel, I must say, Ben. VIVAT Grendel, we're back. This week we've got three stories from master storytellers, two master storytellers, I guess. One storyteller that I am not super familiar with. So to call him a master might be
all
fun.
Masters, don't worry.
They're all masters. If Matt chose them.
You can call Stan Saki a master.
Hey, yeah, I was.
Anyway, with that horrible zinger, let's get into the intro and dig into these anthology stories.
It's like the devil is my best friend. Hunter Rose with the pen to the fork end, or till time end. Like Orion, Jupiter my kin, bloodline private. We control the whole shit. The wolf won't beef, then we feast off the rip. Behold the devil in detail. Behold the devil in detail.
All right, we're back and we are diving into these stories. We didn't get into it this week, Ben, but I think it's okay. Let's dive in. We're recording early because I am right now in San Francisco. Actually, no, I'm back. I've been back for a week, probably.
We've double recorded, and so to say that we did anything in a week would be a lie. We don't know the outcome of the election.
No, we don't. You guys do, though.
Yeah, we're living naively in the past through you. So if you're feeling great or awful, we don't care. We'll be there in a week.
But one thing we won't do to you is lie to you. So
we will never lie to you.
Never. So good luck. I hope everyone had a nice election day. And we are back. And the first story, Devil Say, Devil Do, by the master storyteller Stan Sakai, who you all know from being the letterer on Gru.
How much Usagi Yojimbo have you read? I know that you're a big Turtles head.
Right. And I definitely... Good.
I told you about my Usagi Yojimbo action figure.
That's right. It got destroyed.
I was holding it on my father's lap on the lawnmower when he found his forearm in the clippings.
No. Hey, wait. Do you need this one?
Yeah, I got to get another one day. Oh my God. If I see it on my spot. Yeah, my bubby got it for me. Oh my God. It's a great toy. It was my favorite action figure I ever had. And it was not long for this world.
Yeah. This one is my original from youth. And it's been a long time in a 7-Eleven cup under the sink in the bathroom, as it was a bath toy for a long time.
Interesting.
But still good paint job. It's a little roughed up, but I've read a lot of Usagi.
Have you seen Does Machines on Instagram who repaints the Playmates figures?
Yes, he's a fan of Wizard. Actually, we've spoken a bunch. Yeah, he does great work.
You should get him in Wizard too. He would be the perfect.
Oh yeah,
he's the perfect feature.
Yeah. Shout out Does Machines 84 at Does Machines 84 on Instagram. Yeah, he's great.
Tell me about the comic Usagi. You read a bunch of it?
It's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of the trades, and I met Stan Sakai and Kevin Eastman at a signing at Kevin Eastman's comic book art museum in San Francisco. I think I might have talked about this.
Yeah, you've talked about this with Matt and Jill, I think.
Yeah, so I love the book. I've probably read the first 2 or 3 trades of it, as well as Mirage's Space Usagi run. And then a recent, there was another recent, kind of futuristic Usagi that came out. I love it. It's just masterful comic book work that also reflects on a time period perfectly. Stan's always right next to the booth that I usually work at San Diego Comic-Con. So every year I kind of check in with him. He did a pinup for the next issue of Monkey Lion that is going to come out within the next 10 years.
Super cool.
Yeah. So, I love his work, and I reached out to him to try to see if he would, send us a message about it, but I didn't hear back from him, but. Yeah. And this is a great story.
Busy fella. Yeah, this is another Grendel stalking story. We've got two of these back
Yeah,
to
we do.
back.
We do.
But they're both really cool. As for myself, I think I read the first Usagi Yojimbo trade in college, and I liked it. I think that the anthropomorphic thing doesn't really interest me that much as the cartooning and the action and the history stuff. And it I probably need to read more of it because I've only heard great things. But that element of it sort of turns me off for some reason.
Oh no.
Um, I don't know why. I think that IDW is reprinting the whole series, and it's very very early in the run. So if you wanna sort of, it's like 150 issues or whatever, you can kind of get back on board and reread it. And then there's also Dark Horse has the very affordable $25 omnibuses. There might be 6 to 8 of them.
Definitely.
Yeah,
And
so
you can
those
order
are,
those off his website too, and they'll come signed. He has a really great
oh, cool.
platform. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a guy who I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about this fellow. Only
No.
really glowing nice things about
Absolutely.
him. So that's
There's
nice.
nothing bad. There's nothing bad to say. Like, and also
Yeah.
he works with Sergio Aragonés, as I said, on Gru. He's the letterer for
Mhm.
Gru, and I do believe that Sergio Aragonés makes an appearance in this issue
Yeah,
as the taxi driver.
yeah.
It's
For
so
sure.
clear. It's so clear. So I mean, there's almost no words in this story. It's almost all told in Stan's beautifully well done art. And so we start, as any good Grendel story does, at the docks.
Hmm.
And we see this man running. He's running with a bag.
There's a lot of sound effects.
A lot of sound effects, and all the wordage is red.
Yeah, oh,
Where the
that's
red
interesting.
comes in, yeah.
Yeah. Now, the one thing that I noticed about this page is that it has a really interesting layout. It is 8 panels, and 6 of those panels appear in a double left-handed stack. And we've talked a little bit about the dreaded left-handed stack that people seem not to like because they find reading order a little confusing. I'm not a stickler for it, but it doesn't, I mean, obviously it matters what order you read these panels in, but they're silent. They're all telling the same thing. So, you can kind of scan them very quickly and get the vibe. It's an interesting layout is what.
Well, and in this case too, if you were to be confused in any way, it's still like Grendel is still looming over him in all these 3 panels, it would seem. In all 6 of these panels. So you could still
or he knows, or at least he knows that that's
right.
the case. What
And
do you think
Grendel
about the title? It's like monkey see, monkey do. What does that mean? Anything? Does that mean you're stupid? That means like, oh, you're a monkey, so you see this and you just repeat the action.
Yeah, I guess, and that's like what I don't know. I didn't glean anything from the title, honestly.
No. I like Stan's Grendel mask because the nose is almost like a kitty cat.
Yeah,
it's not a circle.
Yeah. And Grendel is just like run, a man of singular words. The next.
Look at the sound effect in that last panel. It's not red. It's sort of in the background and it's behind Grendel's legs.
Yeah, that's right.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And he's obviously like out of breath and tired, and he's just been on some sort of insane something. And so he's running and he gets up against the wall. He's like out of breath and panting. And then he hears, another thing that's cool too is you almost never see Stan drawing like real like humans instead of anthropomorphic stuff. So that's really cool. So we see Plip, Plip, Plip. And I think even Matt did something for an Usagi anniversary book at one point.
Oh, cool.
He did like a page, I think. Or maybe it's a Dark Horse book I'm thinking of. Anyway, so he's running, and then he like is running next to a taxi running next to a BMW that's jamming some music real loud. And we're seeing in these alleys cats screaming, and everything puts him on edge. Like he's trying to find some sort of like peace, and just everywhere he looks there's loud music, there's cats, there's all these things, and he's just getting more and more and more on edge.
Yeah. I think one thing that Sakai is doing really well here is giving the setting a real urban flavor and texture. There's a lot of like those little Mobius hatches that you like so much, but the sense of place in like every single panel. like the majority of these backgrounds of these panels have fairly full backgrounds to them.
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
really nice.
On the next page, then this taxi kind of cuts him off and slams in, and he gets in, and then panel, let's see, 5, got this great little Grendel on the rooftop.
Yeah.
And Grendel's like, stop. And he jumps down onto a light post and then flips down onto Sergio's car at the red light. And Sergio's
and
like,
that second panel with the light is really well composed with the angle and the perspective and the blacks and the gray, the hatches and the red. Really cool.
You don't like how on panel 3 there's no zipper on the back of his boots.
There's no seam on the back of his boots.
But
I really like the hatching on his calves.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the like line that comes almost all the way down to the bottom showing.
See, this is the thing. When I'm reading this story, I'm like, Stan Sakai should be one of my favorite cartoonists.
Yeah.
Period. Like, this is incredibly well done. It's super engaging and engrossing. Like all the things that I care about, which are my main concern when I'm making comics, is clear compositions that tell my story in the clearest way possible. And like, there's no dialogue here, and it's just like, there's never a single moment in this story where I don't know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and I think exactly what you're saying. Like, clear, concise, action-packed composition is like on full display every panel of this issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this last one on 342, where the windshield explodes, is great. And then just like the pacing of this page in terms of the intensity of each moment, like, it's really quiet, pump, quiet, and then it just like explodes at the end with all this glass. Super great.
And then Stan's friend Sergio gets forked in the neck.
Yeah.
With a glick.
With a glick. Yeah. I love the foreshadowing on this character's arm as he like reaches for the bag. Everything is great.
Foreshortening.
Yeah. Is that what I said?
You said foreshadowing.
Foreshortening.
Yeah, it's a little both.
It's just like every panel's great.
So good. And then and this is another thing you might not see, and that's the great composition. He exits, and still Grendel needs to dislodge his fork from Sergio's head, so he does that.
Yeah.
And then again, this single, and this is another thing of like that you have talked about with Grendel, is that he likes the theatricality. And so he's toying with this dude. He's like, hi.
Yeah, he's getting off on the cat and mouse of it.
Right. And so he runs into he crangs into some trash can.
That's a great sound effect. I didn't even, I love how the R and the A's kind of like breaks up. And then the only thing here is that it's a metro station. Which is not very New York City. No. Mr. California.
Yep, and he runs down and is forcing his way onto a train, and we get some great Grendel right here with, he bumps into this dude standing next to him in a trench coat and a hat, and he's just like, boo. Ah! And so Grendel's there on the train already with a hat and a
trench. I found that strange but plausible. Like, if it's cartoony, right? If it's like a cartoon show, then it's fine. Like, you can, like, logic doesn't apply. If you need to apply strident logic, Grendel has disguises stashed all over the place for when he needs to be in public. Because why wouldn't he?
He's got little stuff stashed in his fork. So like in his fork, he's got these super packed like modules that he hits, like Flash's
like the ring. Yeah.
He jumps into his thing.
I just thought it was, and it was like, he puts on, they had to get on they had to get on at the same station.
Right.
And then Grendel would like walk down the car and.
That's a hard one.
That's not really, I mean, it's not important because the story is told really well. I really like in this bottom tier, like the vertical, is it a screen tone or those lines by hand that Stan does? Yeah, that looks like it's by hand.
It does look like it's
by
say.
hand.
Yeah.
The ones in the hat look like they're by hand, and the ones in the coat look like they're toned. But I really like that. You know, I really like this
Sound
guy's.
effect breaking all 3 panel borders.
Oh, very cool. And then the balloon, the boo, is over that.
Yeah.
So that's a very nice layered approach. I need to read more Usagi Jimbo.
You should check out Senso, the newer story he did. The kind of futuristic. It's real cool.
Okay.
It's like a modern story that he did.
I've got maybe a dozen Dark Horse issues from early, like maybe in the 30s.
Oh yeah.
In my Dark Horse box, so I'll go dig those out.
Cool. He did a Mirage run too. He did a Space Usagi and a normal Usagi Mirage run, and they're good. And even the newer Turtles Usagi crossover is really cool.
And you know that for guys like us who grew up on the Turtles cartoon, that when we made this connection, it just blew our minds.
Right. Well, there's Usagi and Panda Khan that were indie characters that made their way into the toy line, and I think Panda Khan was on the show. I can't remember. I think he was.
You know it better than me. Fugitoid, I think, was also.
Fugitoid was a
Mirage
Peter Laird character before the Turtles. Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, so he runs. By the time he gets out of the station, the bag of money is no longer important.
Nah, he's just trying to live. But then again, Grendel's not any sort of Robin Hood, so he just grabs the bag of money and he's like, "Nah." Though, wait a second. He
stabs the money as if to display his. I think as if to display his anger for the. I don't know. As if to say, if I wanted to throw this thing at you at any time, I could have done it.
Well, really, what he should have done there. I mean, it kind of looks like. Well, no. Like maybe what he's doing there is stabbing it, electrifying his thing, and burning it all. We just don't see that all happen. Like to destroy the money.
If that's in your head canon, I will allow it.
Fired out.
My thought here was that like this is a very public showing of Grendel. The last time we saw something like this was with Sloane Etheridge, the representative who got chased down.
Right.
And Grendel's like always in the shadows. But here there's people like reacting to Grendel in public. Look at this bald guy with the Hitler mustache. He's like excited to see Grendel.
Like, whoa! All right, this is the best trip to New York ever.
Yeah. I mean the people are reacting to him, you know, and it's I don't know what time you think it is. Let's call it, be generous, call it 10 p.m. You know, if there's this many people out or whatever.
Yeah, so maybe it's still nighttime, but man. So then Grendel's chasing him out. He jumps over the turnstile and he's chasing him up the steps onto the street level. This guy's panting and gasping as he runs towards a church, panting up the stage. He thinks he's going to find asylum in this church. Instead, he's done.
The devil.
Right.
Done. Oh man, look at the great motion on this canted angle. That's a really, really nice composition. Yeah. And then he dies against the door of the church.
Yeah. Dude, I like the blood too coming from his back onto the floor. Like that's a really cool thing.
Yeah. The light strikes it in an interesting way. Yeah. You know, this story and the next one and many others that we've seen are just like Grendel stalking. Like it's not about like plotting and writing. It's about letting masterful cartoonists give this motif their spin.
Right. And again, it begs the question, like, what was in Matt's script for this? Or did he just fully give Stan like just carte blanche, do whatever you want?
Right. Because it sounds like we've heard different things depending on who the artist is and what the format is.
For sure. And Stan Sakai is a guy that you can trust to feel confident. Yeah, to just be like, do whatever you want, dude. How about Grendel's chasing a dude or something? Yeah.
If I had to guess, it was that like each page was like this is the narrative measure of this page. Right. And so if you like keep it to 5 to 8 panels per page, and this is what happens.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. Maybe we'll ask Matt how he did every single story, and I'm sure he loves that, answering all these 20-year-old minutia questions.
He doesn't seem to mind.
You like that, right, Matt?
He
Anyway,
seems cool. Anytime we ask him a question, he seems very open to.
this is a great story. This is one of my favorite simple stories, and I am going to give Stan Sakai the look that he deserves.
Good. Yeah, I mean, he's great.
Cool.
This next one, Devil on the Roof, with art by Zander Cannon.
Does this title remind you? It's like a saying or like a Broadway show kind of title. Like not
like
Fiddler on the Roof.
It's
like very. It's got like it's very nursery rhymey. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Zander Cannon. So I've seen him on Alan Moore's America's Best Comics.
Right. That's what I was reading.
Right. And I think. Yeah, I think I read top 10, but I think that the ones I read were mostly by Gene Ha. The funny thing here is that every time I see this opening page, I could swear that this is by Frank Cho. Because he used to call himself Monkey Boy or like sign his stuff Monkey Boy. And then like the way he kind of draws some of these characters reminds me of his Liberty Meadows style. And so I'm just Zander Cannon, good on you. There's some really great cartooning here. And the other person that I thought of a lot of when I saw this was Michael Golden. Not so much in the look, but in how Michael Golden is able to take really realistic forms and make them realistically recognizable, but still give them cartooniness. And there's a lot of places here where Cannon does the same thing, where it's like he'll get really cartoony on gesture and acting and storytelling and like hands and small characters in background, but they'll fit perfectly into this world. And it's never like, oh, that's super cartoony or whatever. Well, not like I don't like cartoony, but anyway, those are my thoughts on his work here.
Nice. I honestly didn't know too much about him. I also read that he did a book called Kaiju Max. He did a bunch of work with that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's a recent book, and that book is really cartoony. It's almost like iconic, like chibi. It's almost like chibi style, like really broken down.
Yeah.
I think cool. that was a like a Boom, a few mini series maybe like 5 years ago. It's about a kaiju maximum security prison island.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's cool.
That's why it's kaiju maximum security for kaiju.
Got it. Okay. And this one opens up in a very Four Rooms style. We got a bellhop kind of.
Totally.
He's whistling his way through the hallway. It's just another thing. And he's got telegram from Mr. Garrison and Mr. Stick. And he's like, what are you doing, Monkey Boy? So he's bringing this thing. And you can hear that this guy on the last panel is like, on edge. He's like, yeah, he's yelling and screaming. And like the bellhop's like, oh my God.
Yeah. The lettering here, I think, was also by Richard Havam. I think. Let me check that. It was someone that we've seen before. Devil on the Roof.
Yeah, Jason Havam.
Jason Havam. Right. So he does a very nice job here.
He lettered Matt's story next too.
Doing like bringing out like the acting and accentuating like the volume and the general panache of this Richard Garrison gangster character,
right? Who appears as the only red in the story, mostly with his what's it called? His
bathrobe.
Yeah.
He's holed up in this suite.
Mm-hmm.
He is apparently double-crossed Grendel, and he's got 17 goons in the suite, in the hallway, in the building, and
he's got a Dr. Thumb there or whatever.
Yeah, and the doctor looks like he stepped out of like Central Anime casting. He's very, very oddly designed.
Yeah,
but I like
got
him.
Like a Colonel Sanders type of mustache. And what was that guy's name? The guy who was like JFK's guy who always had all the different drugs for him and something. They called him, was it Dr. Green Thumb or it was Dr.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
That's cool. And so he's right off the bat, he's complaining that like Grendel knows these intimate details because of course, how does he know when I take a shit? Stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like
stuff like that.
He's like, he can't find us. Like, I can see let's see how tough he is without that fucking fork. And the doctor guy's like, you gotta calm down. Here, take a lewd.
He's just trying to give him benzos like the entire time.
Yeah.
And then at one point he says, just take them all.
Just take all this stuff. Just take this cocktail.
Just take them all. My God. So, they're trying to reassure him that like they're very safe. No one knows where they are.
Right.
Like,
and this place is a fucking fortress.
We just gotta wait this one out. Yeah. Okay. Great.
But then the security guy's like, the telegram for Mr. Garrison.
Yeah, and then they know that their
like,
ruse
wait a
is
second,
up.
what?
Like, if someone knows we're here, then we're not hidden.
Yeah. Well, like the name's under Smith. So how did even the bellboy know that? Maybe the telegram was sent to Mr. Smith, but it's
This is one of my favorite bits of humor. First of all, Garrison is like a diminutive, like mustachioed, hair slick back guy. So I really I saw myself in him, and I enjoy like the like kind of the humor, just like with the doctor. I enjoy that he's like very cartoony. So the telegram comes, the guy pulls out his gun. He goes, "What, are you gonna fucking shoot the envelope?"
Yeah.
Goddamn thing away. I think it's very funny.
Yeah, it's like it's fucking flat. It can't even be a bomb.
Right. And then when they open it, they duck and cover it like it's a bomb.
Yeah. And then they play on the telegram, I'll read it. It says, you have approximately 1 hour left to live. Stop. Spend it well, you treacherous bastard. Stop. The time has come to pay for your actions. Stop. The time has come to stop. Can
I ask you a question about telegrams?
Yeah.
Why don't you just tell the guy period? Why don't you, instead of stop? Like, what is the stop?
I guess I don't know. I mean, right.
Like, I think
and why didn't
when they a holdover from like telegraphs?
I think you might be,
something like that.
But then again, why don't you just translate that when you're typing the thing? Instead of saying stop, you say period.
What if you need to say the word stop?
Right.
Then you're fucked.
But I like how they play with it, because it's like the time has come to stop.
Right.
But then
isn't that what he says? That's his word at the end. He says stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it is a odd retro throwback literary thing.
Yeah.
An anachronism. And so of course Hunter Rose would revel in that.
Absolutely. And this sends Garrison into a tizzy of expletives and stomping around, and the doctor's like, you've got to calm down, please.
Yeah. Completely exacerbated.
Yeah. And well, everyone's like, you guys got to calm down.
They all tell him just to calm down. They tell him to calm down. Like, that's all they say to this guy.
I love the dude's hair, like on the far left of that bottom panel on 349. We're in the omnibus now for guys who are following along. It's like super curls. Curly. I love that. Yeah. And then on the neck,
the fiddlehead curls. Actually, they look like looks like Scott Alley, actually.
Yeah, or that Bob Dylan poster by.
Yeah.
You have it. You have a play on it.
I have
Beavis.
Yeah, what's Rick Parker doing Butthead?
Oh yeah, that's great.
That's that. Yeah, it's really fun.
All right, so then on the next page, one of the security guys is like, "Heads up, boys! There's been another threat." Oh no, he's telling the guys outside that like, we just got this fucked up letter. Grendel knows we're here. He knows we've got 1 hour to like secure everything before the shit starts going down. Guess what, bros? You ain't got that hour. Grendel's playing with you.
Yeah, go up to the roof and tell them just to not rest on their laurels. And the guy runs off, and then there's the grate is right there, and then we're inside the grate. Now the grate actually appears on page 1, which is a lot of fun as well. It's just chilling there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Right. So he did a very nice job
creating this world.
Yeah, thinking about the space, I suppose.
The stage,
but, yeah. When we're inside the grate, Grendel lets out some Grendel gas.
Yeah, he always got test tubes. He's always got test tubes of stuff, man.
And this he does.
Yeah.
It's funny. He either has no gadgets or he's got whatever he needs, and costumes stashed wherever. But I have thought a lot about like the nature of all the different like the 40 guest artists and the nature of the Hunter Rose saga, that it's like there's an oral tradition component to it, because it's like Christine Spar or all these other visions. And then the mask is always different. It's just like, it's very, very fluid because he's inscrutable. He's unknowable in a lot of ways.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
And so then we're coming up onto the roof, and this dude's like yelling out for the other goons that are up here, and he's like, Bernie, Johnny, Dennis, where are you guys? Till he turns the corner and sees some major carnage. I just love it because one guy must have been like forked way up, and then he came bloodily down. The other guy just kind of was like, is hung. And then the third guy is just in pieces. There's his head. There's his arm. Like, just Grendel destroys.
I didn't even see the third guy until just
I didn't. I honestly
and he's like chopped up like at the nose.
Oh my God, it's insane.
And then there's the guns are, I see the guns.
Yeah, I was wondering what that is. There's like one dick right. And then there's a gun.
It's funny. The rooftops here are really. No, that's his rifle. Not a dick. It's
not a dick. Okay.
It's the rifle from panel 5.
Gotcha.
Because you can see, the staging. Look at it. He comes out the door and there's this like sideways light bulb on it, and you can see the guy from around the corner, and there's that hatch. Again, the rooftops here are really nice. When we were reading Silverback, one of the digs I didn't give it was that like Evan's rooftop, the rooftops in Evan's neighborhood, like they must be in Queens or something, because it just like looks like suburbia. It's all like triangular houses, but like here it's like
this is the city.
This is Hell's Kitchen, yeah.
So this guy's like, oh fuck. He's running down the stairs. Love the gas on these next two panels.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's like a what do you call that tonage there, like in red, but it's like circle tones, dot tones,
screen tone.
Okay. But dot, it's like the circles, pattern. Not like lines or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, oh fuck.
Zipatone, screen tone. Yeah. His and then this guy in these first two panels, when I was talking about like Zander Cannon's ability to like blend cartoonisms with reality. Mm-hmm. Like this is like there's like some real like Winsor McKay brilliance going on in these two figures.
Yeah, really like it. We go back into the suite here, and he's like, just Mr. Garrison's going off and all this stuff, and then he's like, just take those. He's like, just take them, Mitch. Here's where he says, like, take them all, buddy. Just put them all down, and then we get a ring on the red phone, and the just red phone. Just take them all. Take the cocktail. We're all going to be gone here in a second. And like, what? It's Phil. He claims the guys on the roof have all been. The guys in the roof in the hall have all been whacked, and he spits out all the pills. He didn't even get them down.
That's really funny. This whole panel is really funny, but I think that the part that I enjoy the most, besides the spit take, is the gun that's leaning up against the corner. It's like there's something very funny about that.
And so the guy goes out to check, and it's just like, this is not right. And he's like, wait, don't you smell that? They probably use gas. And like, the guy's like right by a window. They should be opening a window. And then the other guy's on the phone is like, we're fucking trapped in here. And then this fourth panel, while all the pandemonium's going on in the far right corner, you just see the fork coming out of the window and just going through the back of the guy's head out through his mouth.
Yeah, there's a really wonderful like sense of misdirection here, because there's these three figures in different planes that are all facing to the left.
Right.
I found it weird that the doctor wasn't, and that he was sort of pointing his arm towards the window. But these other guys they're not only looking to the left, but they're moving to the left. And then Grendel's fork is also moving to the left, but no one's looking that way.
Right. So I think the doctor is kind of aloof in the whole thing anyway. So him kind of not knowing which direction stuff's going, it's because he's like, he might be on a cocktail himself.
Yeah, he's like the Trump doctor. He's the fittest president in the history of the United States. Like, whatever you need, just take them all.
Right, exactly. And he's like, 2 for you, 1 for me.
Right. It's like Dr. Nick.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
This sequence here is like the door opening and closing, where it's all about the contrast of the light. Really, really nice.
Yeah. And he's like, we've all just got to keep our heads on boom, straight in all complete darkness. And this is when Grendel's he's slicing everybody up. Light finally turns on, and Mr. Garrison's like, Jesus fucking Christ, he's here, Doc. Love this classic samurai movie shit about to happen. He's like, you're right, Doc, we gotta stay calm and stuff's going crazy. And the doctor's kind of like grumbling. And we turn the page. You ready?
I think he's already high as shit.
He must be. Well, but then we turn the page and his head just falls right off. And he's like, dang.
like these are like, this is a very funny drawn story.
Yeah, this is
there's more humor in this than in
almost all the other
almost
books.
Anything. Yeah. This is this is great shit.
Yeah. And then Grendel comes in. He's like, much as I imagined a traitor would squeal. Now then, Mitchell Garrison, stop. That's cool, man. I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
Great story here, man. And the Grendel mask here too is a little extra.
Yeah, is there no nose?
Well, I think he's like facing down like this,
Yeah.
And
he doesn't
and
really
eyes,
show up.
Yeah, it's a tough
He appears in 2 panels.
Yeah.
One is just hands.
But the thing is he appears in 2 panels, but he's in every panel. The fear of him is in every panel.
Yeah, he's in 3 panels and the fork is in 2 and
yeah.
All that. This is exactly what Jim Offwood was talking about as this is the quintessential anthology stalking tale. Like we just had one with Saki. We talked about how different artists put their spin on the motif.
Mm-hmm.
This is really funny. Like the question from Matt is, how much were you trying to lean into the humor when you did this?
Right.
Because the Kaiju Max book is a comedy, but the Alan Moore comics are superhero police procedural books.
Right. So maybe Zander's the kind of dude that likes the humor, and so then again, Matt saw that in his personal work and was like, "Let's lean into it. Lean into it."
This is funny. It's like the guy's acting is very funny.
I agree.
Yeah. Well done, Zander Cannon.
Hey. All right, and the final story for today is Grendel, Scared of the Devil. Midnight Looms. This is a Matt story that was featured in, I believe it says it was featured in Dark Horse Extra number 49 or 50.
What is Dark Horse Extra?
I don't know.
No, they had 50 of them at least. So
yeah,
good,
I guess
good for them. There's the next Matt story is that's coming up in several weeks is the rooftop battle. I think it's all silent. And that's from a Dark Horse annual, Dark Horse 2000 or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Something like that. So
this is an interesting, if not quick story. We come in with Grendel. He's on the rooftops kind of pursuing the city.
Yeah, we've been here many times before, many different artists, including Matt. This is
great.
One.
This is great art by Matt too. It almost seems like it's like a proto style, that's right on the way to the style that we see in Behold the Devil, but it's still a little rougher than it becomes in Behold the Devil.
Yeah, we should compare this to is the Sympathy for the Devil style, although I don't know what the time, this might be before that for all we know.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, because also there's a lot of there's a bunch of airbrushing in the grays.
Oh yeah.
Which is not really, and the graphite isn't present yet. But instead of the graphite, we get a little bit of dry brush or dry something.
Okay. You don't think some of it's screen tone or something? Looks like a very fine dots. I don't know.
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
No, it looks like a Photoshop airbrush.
Yeah.
Anyway, doesn't matter. Grendel is stalking. And then we've got another mob dude in his bathrobe late at night feeling the stress.
Mm-hmm. It's all too quiet. And again, the bodyguards and burglar alarms can't spare your fate, Judas. This is the fruit of your own treachery. So again, I mean, this guy seems This could just be like, again, okay, sorry. Grendel's killing off all these mob bosses in order to rule. So this is just another one in the line of that he's trying to take over all the families, I'm sure.
You get out of the way. You know, if you're in and you step out of line, you ain't in anymore.
Yep, you ain't in.
You know, and then the litheness of Hunter's figure here is like super quintessential. Like this is what Matt wants the character to look like. You know,
Right.
like real, like really sleek.
Yeah, and this is where like you can see the dry brush in Grendel's costume and stuff. For sure. But then we hear from behind Grendel, a viper speaks of honor, and the wolf shows his face again. Your black heart knows only deceit.
There's a lot of places in this that it looks like the hero defined.
Yeah, yep.
So maybe it's a late 90s kind of thing. Anyway, your black heart knows only deceit. My God, Argent hates him.
Hates him.
He hates him.
Didn't know.
He's got his chickadee.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's denouement. So that is after the climax, right? That's a literary term.
Oh, I didn't know.
So yeah, denouement. So what would the climax be? Because the real climax is when they kill each other on the roof.
Right.
So I think what this is after Argent falls, perhaps. Like in Argent's, like in both their eyes, that's a high or low point of their conflict. Yeah. You know,
it was definitely a fall from grace for Argent. Literally.
Yeah. So that would be an interesting question for Matt. Like, when do you see, based on that comment, when do you see this story taking place?
Right. This next panel on top of 359 on guard, really cool. Such an interesting way.
Yeah. Or maybe just Hunter just likes speaking in French, so he just thought, here's another French word. I'm gonna say on guard anyway. Eli doesn't know this one. This will sound cool. Yeah, this is a great panel, especially the carpet.
Yeah, and I mean the guy in the foreground, and you know the way like Grendel's head's not even connected to his body, and it's just really
super abstract. Like the guy's like stroking out in the foreground. His hand acting is really great. He's like, doing one of these.
Yep. And Grendel knew all too well. And here we see he probably sliced Argent's chest, and they both look. A well-timed scare can be as sharp as any blade. Grendel escapes through the window, and Argent howls for the death.
Maybe that comment, a well-timed scare can be as sharp as any blade, is also a comment on the fall.
Oh, on his fall from grace. Yeah.
Maybe. Is there a fall from grace anthology short?
I don't think so. Not that we've seen yet. Yeah.
Right? You'd think that, you'd think there would be one. Maybe there'll be another. Maybe it's white, red, and blue, or whatever. Anyway, so
great story by Matt.
One thing that's interesting to me is that Argent is like on his knees, like holding his guts together in this one, because Grendel gets a slice in, and then when the guy has his heart attack, they both kind of like look over.
Right. And
in that moment, Grendel's like, "Oh, gotta go."
Yep.
And then Argent is suddenly very mobile as well in that moment. You can see his hand moving.
Oh yeah.
And then Argent sits there like howling instead of following the guy.
Right. Maybe he kind of like lumbered over to the door and made it to the thing, and then when Grendel just jumped, Argent was like, "I can't do that right now.
I can't do it. I'm too busted up to it." He is. It's insult to it's injury to insult.
That's right. Oh man,
great little Matt story. Yeah, these are great.
All right, and so next week we return with 3 more tales from Red, White, and Black. We've got Scared. Oh no, that's what we just did. We got The Devil's Tide by Mike Huddleston. Awesome, dude. We got Rat on the Devil by Derek Robertson. And we got Devil's Sentence with John K. Snyder.
Cool. I'll admit to you next week. This is the only Mike Huddleston I've ever read. I hear Decorum's amazing, but it sounds like there's 20 years of awesome work by this guy that I don't know. So I'm excited to check that out.
Butcher Baker, The Righteous Maker, another cool book. I think that he did with Joe Casey.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, that was a good one.
This stuff looks awesome.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah,
I read it this morning. I wasn't sure how far we were going to go today, but it's a good one. And
Cool,
his art has really grown beyond this. And you know, Mike went to art school with Jim Mahfood, and they're old buddies from the 40-ounce comics days. So it's an added bonus. And I'll tell you a great story about the time that I met Mike Huddleston at a Jim Mahfood live art contest or live art concert next time.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, that ought to be good.
Yes.
Hey,
Vivat
let me
Grendel.
tell you this. Why don't we also do this Phil Noto story as well?
All right, let's add that in, Phil Noto. And then we've only got about 1 or 2 more weeks before we finish up with Red, White, and Black.
Damn, son.
And then we're gonna go do Grendel the Shadow.
Yeah, that'd be great. We gotta see if we can get Brennan on for one of those.
Get Brennan on? Oh, that's a great idea.
Cool.
Yep. Shout out to Brennan, who's somehow fishing in Central Park, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Fishing better than seemingly anyone ever has in Central Park.
It does seem like that.
Well done.
It's amazing.
Vivat Grendel.
Vivat Grendel. Keep on Grendeling. Until next time.